Yeah. What's up, ladies and gentlemen, man? Welcome to the Sage Experience Show. Uh, yeah. Hey, download the app, man. App Review, all right? Hey, download the App Review app. It's free, okay? Welcome to the Sage Experience Show, ladies and gentlemen, man. This is just a broadcast, testing broadcast, the Sage Experience Show, an hour and a half. You can watch it live on YouTube, live on my Facebook page, and live on my Facebook profile. All right. How you can find this? The Sage Experience Show. The Sage Experience Show. Okay. It's a show that will give you an experience for show. But welcome, ladies and gentlemen, man. Good afternoon to some, good morning to others, good evening to others. And I'm just doing the show, man, just to test everything because I'm about to be in beast mode with all that. Half of you American radio show Monday through Friday. The Sage Experience Show every Wednesday. And I don't know why I'm doing it on Tuesday. I could have waited till tomorrow, but every Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? And my thoughts of a sage clips, just random, any time of the day, wherever. It could be at night, it could be wherever, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to start uploading those directly to our website, also our YouTube channel, and my Facebook page and everything like that. And this will be a video edit instead of me just going live like I normally do on Facebook. It'll be a video edit, you know what I'm saying? So good afternoon to all the peoples out there doing something positive, chasing their dreams. Okay? Chasing their dreams. I love when I hear people chase their dreams, man. You know what I'm saying? So shout outs to you all out there doing that. Don't stop, keep going, regardless. Okay, regardless if anybody says something about it. And sometimes it be you that get in your own way. So learn to get out your own way, man. All right? And chase your dreams and don't stop. All right, this is episode 1, ladies and gentlemen, and it's funny that I've done multiple episodes in the past. I think I did probably got around 30 to 45 episodes, and it was weekly. And I had some good views on YouTube, some good views on this Facebook page, the actual Facebook page, business page. All right, and this episode right there, right now, is called "To Mandate or Not to Mandate." Okay, and we got a lot to talk about, man. I mean, that's the main topic right there. We definitely got some other things that we're going to be going over. This is a weekly show, like I told you guys. The time is going to be determined because it's a live show, and it's only once a week. So I definitely want to make sure I get all that in line so you guys could know how to follow. Right? You can also follow the Sage Experience Show on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. It's free to follow me, people. I mean, it don't cost a lot. It don't cost you nothing, actually. I'm sorry, but it costs like probably a few seconds of your time. You can go to Instagram. Look what I got planned. You can go to Instagram. You can go to Instagram. Yeah, let me making sure the stop sharing goes through. Oh yeah, you can go to Instagram. You can go to all the platforms, to follow the Sage Experience Show. And I do appreciate everybody that's tuned in right now, listening. It's much appreciated. The show and the platform is growing, and that's about it. All right. Okay, man. Right now there's a lot going on in America, a lot going on in the world. Period, man. A lot going on in the world, man. And the number one thing that's affecting the world right now is the CV. Okay, I don't even want to say the other name. The CV right now is affecting a lot of people in so many ways, and I have this is kind of like a positive story. about what's going on with the CV. All right, and this is a good thing because it goes to show you that there is possibly something similar that could happen in America. Okay, even though, as you can see, the title is "Man to Mandate or to Not Mandate," but we have multiple countries. Okay, that has left mandates and restrictions. It's supposed to say lift. Why I got left? Let me correct that, ladies and gentlemen. It's supposed to say lift, okay? And let me correct that real quick. Lift restrictions and mandates, okay? That's what happened when you're moving too fast. Look, it's still moving too fast. That's what happened when you're moving too fast and things and all that. But if you're listening right now, please subscribe. It'll be greatly appreciated if you subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a family member. The Safe Spin Show is here. We'll be doing giveaways, cash giveaways, tickets to games, stuff like that. So, but subscribe to the channel. It's free. All right. It says to mandate or to not mandate, and like I said, there's multiple countries. I'm gonna show you a video that actually goes over this, and we'll talk about it amongst ourselves. If you feel free to comment. You can definitely comment. I will look at the comments. All right, and I will pretty much read them back or respond to them. Okay. And this video that I'm going to show you guys is from The Hill. The Hill is basically one of my favorite media platforms, okay? One of my favorite media platforms. And The Hill basically has a video from a young lady, I think her name is Iverson, something Iverson, Kim Iverson. Kim Iverson on The Hill. She actually talks about, what's going on here with the story regarding mandates being lifted and restrictions being removed, okay? And shout outs to all of the countries that are doing this, okay? Singapore, Norway, and I don't want to, I think it was Thailand, I believe, but let her do the job, okay? And you guys will hear. And in between, I'll say a few things here and there, right? Subscribe to my channel, subscribe to their channel, The Hill. Thanks for The Hill with this news and article.
Hi, Kim. What's on your radar?
Last Friday, the Norwegian government abruptly announced that beginning the very next day, all COVID restrictions would end. No vaccine mandates, no vaccine passports, no masks, full capacity at every venue, large concerts, parties, sporting events, you name it. Normal life would resume. Prime Minister Erna Solberg warned, quote, even though every
normal life would resume. This is in Norway, and the prime minister is a woman, and she is one of the smartest leaders we have out there. And listen to what she has to say about the whole mandate and restrictions that they used to have.
Day life is now back to normal for most people. The pandemic is not over. People will still get sick, and therefore it is important that everyone gets vaccinated. The country currently has 67% of its population fully vaccinated. However, despite the high rates, this month the country also saw its largest spike in COVID cases, which it is now finally coming down from. The reason for lifting all of the restrictions isn't what you would expect. The Norwegian government didn't cite high vaccination rates or even having the virus under control as justification for returning to life as normal. Instead, the prime minister said the lifting of restrictions is due to fatigue in the...
I'm going to pause it right there. Fatigue. Okay. The whole planet is at this position, or is right there with fatigue. Okay. The entire planet. Maybe not the people that's, pushing the CV and everything to monetize. They're not tired, because every time somebody gets it or whatever, I guess, I don't know. I'm just making a speculation. They're making money. Okay. It's a money grab, political and a money grab situation, in my opinion. But fatigue is definitely, like, we're tired of so much up and down, zigzagging with the restrictions, mandates, rules, and everything. So it's like it makes somebody at my doorbell, man. Come on, man. Yo. So you know what I'm saying? So basically, people are tired, man. We're just tired of having to deal with so much rule changes. And as we know that today in New York officially started the mandates and restrictions for the nurses that where they have to have the vaccine. If you work in any healthcare uh hospital or clinics or whatever like that in New York, you must be vaccinated or you're losing your job. Okay. It's either vaccinated or fired. Get jabbed or fired. Okay. We're talking about police officers, all of that are quitting, leaving their jobs. So it makes you wonder when you see other countries like Norway and Singapore are taking this on, how long would it take for America to actually do the same? Will they ever do the same? Okay. And doing the same, would it's a lot, man. People are just tired. We just want to get back to normal life. And let me play the video and let Kim speak.
Public of constantly changing restrictions and the lack of normalcy in their daily lives. She cautioned that the virus is still with the world, so take personal responsibility. Hearing the news, the Norwegian people flooded the streets Saturday in celebrations that rivaled Mardi Gras. Singapore has also
That's the virus is still with the world. That's kind of like the flu is still with us. You know, it's still with us. I mean, I barely hear anything about the flu nowadays, you know, probably for the past year and 6, 7 months. But that's what she's saying. Okay.
announced it will be living with COVID. The country has 82% of its population fully vaccinated with Pfizer and Moderna nearly exclusively, despite the extremely high rate.
Why people not doing Johnson and Johnson? Like Johnson and Johnson is a brand in a, that has is a stapled brand in America. Okay, we talking about Johnson and Johnson for babies. I even think they had a Johnson and Johnson hotel. All right, they had hotels. All right, please don't quote me 100% on that, but I remember seeing Johnson and Johnson on a few hotels back in the early 90s.
Singapore is in the middle of its largest wave ever in cases, hospitalizations, and deaths. Because of the immense pressure on their hospitals, the country has implemented temporary restrictions to slow the spread while they ramp up building more medical facilities. But once they do that, they say life will go on as normal, even though they anticipate doing so will result in waves 3 times the size of what they're currently experiencing.
The government has said time and time.
You know, it's just people just tired, man. Even it's like even the leaders of those countries, Norway, and as you can see on the screen, Singapore, they tired themselves, man. They tired of just going back and forth, up and down, zigzagging. They don't. It's too much changes, okay, that's happening. You know, from one shot to 2 shots, 3 shots to it's just a lot, man. And people are just tired, okay? But this is not the most important part of the video, ladies and gentlemen. The most important part of the video is when after this guy speaks and she mentions what the other countries are saying about this situation and about the rate or the effect. Okay, how the death rate based on the death rate and how bad COVID really is. I don't want to reveal it. That's why I'm stumbling around my words.
Again, expect cases to rise. We have seen that.
Right.
But the government has also said we will live with COVID.
Sure.
Endemic states. What does that entail? How does that look?
That basically means that there's nothing you can do about it. It's a virus. It's out here. Okay, it's out here, and you just have to protect yourself in any ways possible that best suits you, whether if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. Okay.
Like,
So we are moving in this journey towards living with COVID. And that's why you would see with the restrictions that we have taken, we have not gone back to a circuit breaker or to a lockdown. We are tightening measures so that we can slow down the rate of transmission and use this time to augment our healthcare capacity and to be able to deal with a higher volume of cases without our healthcare system being overwhelmed. I'm quite sure, even after we have stabilized our healthcare system, gotten the new capacity in place, cases will continue to be high. The virus will continue to circulate. That's what living with COVID means. And that's what we are on a journey.
Because it's not going nowhere. Like, it's not going anywhere. So a lot of the things that they're implementing right now, like mandates and restrictions, are these going to be mandates and restrictions forever? This is why the part when she says fatigued, leaders, people in high positions, people that are part of the 1% are just tired.
Towards.
Health experts in Singapore say part of this new transition to living with COVID will include a mentality shift. They say the messaging surrounding
This is the part I really want you guys to really pay attention to, okay? The mentality shift part, okay? And definitely all of them is important, but this part right here really, really stuck with me. And it's because a lot of the stuff she's saying is what a lot of us on YouTube, on podcast shows, so-called conspiracy theorists were saying last year. And a lot of platforms, the big tech platforms were suspending accounts, fact checking accounts, and flagging accounts for community guidelines over the very things she's about to mention.
COVID-19 as a dangerous and deadly disease needs to change.
She said it. The mentality shift of the CV, okay? The CV is a deadly. Let her say it again, okay? It needs to change. The mentality shift needs to change on that.
This new transition to living with COVID will include a mentality shift. They say the messaging surrounding COVID-19 as a dangerous and deadly disease needs to change.
Yes.
That the messaging to the public that COVID-19 is predominantly a mild disease needs to be clear.
Okay, she just said it. And these are leaders of countries. Why is Biden not saying this? Why Biden, Kamala are not saying this? We have some conservatives and some Democrats that are saying this. But why are they not talking about the death ratio based on the amount of people? Okay, why they're not talking about the survival rate? But all we hear is about taking shots, getting jabbed up, mandates and restrictions. But we're not talking about the statistics, the numbers, which determines if it's a mild case or a mild virus, or if it's a huge problem. Okay, kind of like SARS. SARS was a little different, but keep going. She says we need a mentality shift to make it clear that the virus, okay, is not deadly.
And it seems the government of Singapore is listening. They are now urging people to not rush off to the hospital when they test positive, but to instead stay home, use self-care, and not to worry.
And I'm pretty sure, okay, see that part right there? I'm going to tell you, a lot of people probably had the CV. Let me not say probably. A lot of people had the CV, and a lot of them beat the CV by doing what she just said. And let me play it again.
Self-care and not to worry. One thing to note is that neither the government of Norway nor Singapore is clear, and it seems the government of Singapore is listening. They are now urging people to not rush off to the hospital when they test positive, but to instead stay home, use self-care, and not to worry.
And I'm pretty sure a whole lot of people, and I know some people, that went through this. They had it. They did the at-home remedies and treatment, and they bounced back within a few days. Okay, so everybody's different. The CDC just came out and said that everybody's different. So you cannot, the way the jab affects one person, it may not affect the other. We all know this. I don't even got to say that. Some people are going to get side effects. Some people are not. Okay, some people's lives and health will change, and some people won't. Okay, and it's not going to be a huge percentage, of course, but right now you cannot say that it won't. You don't even know, because nobody alive has had the shot for over 2-3 years. We don't know the long-term effects. Okay, but what she says right here makes a lot of sense.
Test positive, but to instead stay home, use self-care, and not to worry. One thing to note is that neither the government of Norway nor Singapore even mention the unvaccinated. They do not place blame on the people who have not chosen to get the vaccines. In Norway, the prime minister urged people, especially minority communities, to get vaccinated, but never demonized them nor blamed them for their latest surge in cases.
Say what? Now this sounds like a government that puts their people first. Okay. Now this sounds like leaders that care about their people's feelings, that care about people having their freedom. Okay. Not like a Don Lemonade who will go on national TV on CNN and call unvaccinated people ignorant and stupid. But me, I'm going to say this. I've never seen an imbecile or an idiot until I met Don Lemon. Okay. That's an idiot right there. That's a dumbass. Okay. Straight bitch assness. Okay. For you to do, because if Don Lemon had HIV and there was a requirement for all of us to see your HIV passport, and you can't sit in certain places, you can't get into certain places because we need to see your HIV passport, Don Lemon would not like that. Okay. He would not like that because that would be geared towards his sexuality. And he would not like that at all. Okay. He would feel like we're invading his privacy. But let me press play. Let this young lady speak. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if you hear anything, you're going to hear some things. A noise in the background. I do apologize in advance. They're remodeling the kitchen.
Or inability to eradicate the virus. There are no passports or.
I love that they're not chastising. They're not like they basically are not like shaming people that are unvaccinated.
Mandates in either country, people living as equals regardless of their medical status. They urge people to get vaccinated, but beyond that, there are no checks or restrictions on those who haven't. Other countries have also chosen to live with the virus. The UK lifted all restrictions in July despite increasing numbers. However, they are reserving the right to reverse this winter if hospitalizations increase. Denmark, Portugal, and Ireland have also announced a lifting of all restrictions, citing high.
All these countries are smart. The leaders are smart. Okay. If you watch the entire video, you'll know why.
Vaccination rates. They know that things might get worse and they may also reverse course. But for now, they are saying as long as hospitalizations remain low, they will continue to just live with the ever-spreading, ever-mutating virus. Thailand is also now.
See how she said ever spreading and ever mutating? Like it means that this is never ending. It's going to keep going. So are we going to keep wearing masks for the next 5 years? Okay. Because Ebola is still out here. SARS still out here. Okay. Are we going to wear masks for the next 5 years? Are we going to restrict people from going to restaurants, particular restaurants, indoor facilities, and everything like that? Are we going to restrict them because for 5 years? Okay. Are you talking about these jobs are going to be like, oh, you must be vaccinated or you can't have a job? Or is this going to be for 5 years? You know, and I like that I'm seeing Denmark, Portugal, Thailand, Singapore. They're taking the measures to protect their community because by having the choice of being able to get vaccinated or not, and then by saying that they're going to live with it because it's going to be here forever. Okay, there's no way you're going to get rid of this. There's no amount of shots you can take to prevent you from getting it. Okay, and then you could be unvaccinated and still get it. You could be vaccinated and still get it. Okay.
Now living with the virus despite low vaccination rates and increasing cases. There are a few takeaways from the increase in countries choosing to simply live with it. First of all, it is impossible to eradicate the virus if countries are just letting it circulate. They are not attempting to get rid of it anymore. Singapore is anticipating larger spikes than what they have now, but the reason they are letting it circulate is because they know there is no getting rid of the virus. They've come to terms.
What you said, young lady, there's no getting rid of it. Some of y'all that's young adults right now, 18, 19, When you drop a child at 30 years old, it will still be here.
With that fact and have moved on, focusing on hospitalizations and death rates. In focusing on hospitalizations and deaths, these countries are now sending the message to their public that the young and healthy are not at high risk. When you catch COVID, stay home, self-isolate, and take care of yourself.
And I'm telling you, a lot of people did this, and a lot of people are immune to COVID, the CV, okay? A lot of them are immune to CV because some people didn't even know they probably had it. You know, they just was doing the normal thing of treating themselves, and they probably didn't have a case where it's like really that bad. They probably just had a mild case, and they beat the mild case with at home treatment, and just like what she said, staying at home and protecting
Public
yourself.
that the young and healthy are not at high risk. When you catch COVID, stay home, self-isolate, and take care of yourself. For the vast majority of people, COVID-19 is a mild disease. Singapore has begun giving out booster doses to their most.
You heard what she said. I'm sorry for stopping the video every 5 minutes. If you want to watch the video in its entirety, you can go to the channel, The Hill, and subscribe to them. Hey, if you go subscribe to them, drop a comment and say you came from the Sage Experience Show. But as you can see, she said it's mild. The COVID, the CV is mild for what? I don't want to say it. She's going to say it again.
For the vast majority of people, COVID-19 is a mild disease. Singapore has begun giving.
COVID-19 is a mild disease. Okay. And I feel like just doing it. You know, I know what mild means, but I really want to read it for you guys. You know, mild, not severe, not serious or harsh. He received a mild sentence. That means it's not severe, not serious, not harsh. Similar to lenient. Okay, light. Oh, you know how they be saying Coca-Cola light because there's light on the sugar or light on this particular thing, or how they be having the butter, light butter. Okay, they can call it mild. When you go to Popeye's Chicken, which is one of my favorite spots to get some chicken, they ask me mild or spicy. Okay, we know mild means it's not spicy. It's light of spices. It's probably not even spicy at all. So let's go to the second definition: gentle and not easily provoked. Okay, so this is in a similar way of using it, and it says tender, soft. Okay, sensitive. So we're talking about not severe, not serious, not harsh.
Giving out booster doses to their most vulnerable to keep them protected, since they know they are the ones to likely end up hospitalized. None of these countries are panicking about their unvaccinated children. These countries are ahead of us in vaccination rates with the same vaccines we use here in this country, and yet in these nations, just like in Israel, massive spread still happens. This shows us that unfortunately they're.
See, I like these leaders in the countries that were mentioned. I appreciate y'all. Okay, I appreciate y'all because you're proving that if you're 100%, it doesn't matter. Some of these countries are 90% vaccinated, and the hospitals are still getting filled up. Okay, they're not going to tell you it's vaccinated people or it's unvaccinated. Okay, they're just going to say a title: 5,000 people hospitalized due to the CV, right? But you're going to have to go read the article to determine how many people were vaccinated and unvaccinated. Similar to the article in a situation that happened in Massachusetts, where a couple thousand got CV, and out of that couple thousand, 74% of them were jabbed. Okay, when I say jabbed, I mean they got shot. They got the shot, okay? 74% of them were jabbed, and out of that 74%, they all had the CV. So basically, a lot of these countries have come to see that, okay, it doesn't matter if everybody's it still be here. You cannot get rid of it. It will not be eradicated, regardless if you're vaccinated or not. It still will be spread amongst the unvaccinated and the vaccinated. And I love the fact that the country is not shaming and is not chastising unvaccinated people. And those individuals have the right to be unvaccinated if they want to be. This is what's called freedom. Okay. But if somebody asks me for my vaccine card, I'm going to ask them for their HIV card, especially if I go to a restaurant. Okay. If I go to a restaurant and you're handling food, best believe if you ask me for my CV vaccination card, guess what's gonna happen? You ask me for my I don't know if y'all heard that the phone ringing. If you ask me for my CV vaccination card, I'm going to ask you for your HIV and AIDS card. Okay, press play.
Doesn't seem to be a magical herd immunity threshold we can hit that will stop the spread. Perhaps the metric we should focus on is hospitalizations and deaths. We know the groups who are most at risk of severe outcomes. That hasn't really changed despite the new variants. The elderly, people with hypertension or diabetes, and people with a BMI over 35, amongst other risk factors. Perhaps we should have a public health campaign to educate people about their individual risk while ramping up hospital capacity in the same way Singapore is doing. One thing seems certain. With increasing mandates and the constant dehumanizing of the unvaccinated, we are tearing away at the fabric of our free nation while furthering the divide between us. And in the end, the virus will still be here.
Facts. All this, like for instance, man, Kyrie Irving is one of those players that I respect his game. You know, I respect Kyrie Irving. Okay, and Kyrie Irving right now has an issue with disclosing whether he has taken the virus, I mean the jab or not, right? And I don't like that shit. When I see reporters like he told the reporter, next question, move on. He's gonna say, then the reporter is going to say, I should show you guys the video. Matter of fact, I'm going to let this video play and we're gonna go to that because I gotta go to the Kyrie video to see how they dehumanize the man and they try to make the man seem like he don't give a damn about people. Then they're gonna hit him with the fans. It's about the fans, whatever, whatever. Man, it's not about the fans. It's about the man's choice, man. Okay? Because some of these fans don't give a damn about the player. All they come to do is watch the game, okay? They don't care about the player.
So I'm curious from your guys' perspective, at what point do you think our country, given the hyper politicized nature of the virus, will get to this point similar to Singapore where we say, hey, listen, even with extremely high rates of vaccination, they're 82% fully vaccinated, a little bit higher if you count, they don't count their the people, the 5% of them that got the Chinese vaccine. But if you do count them, then, they're getting up to 90%. At what point are we going to also get to this point where we say cases are going to be high? We're going to have to live with.
Because it's going to be here anyways, man. If everybody gets 100% vaccinated, you still can get it and you still can possibly die from it. Once again, if everybody gets it, these countries are showing you they're 90% plus vaccinated and their hospitals are still filling up. Okay. They're not going to disclose if they're vaccinated or unvaccinated like that. But if 90% of the country is vaccinated and the hospitals are filled up more than it was during, the ending of the peak, okay, last year, this is what they're saying. Then that means why chastise people? Why dehumanize? Why shame people over something that's still going to be here, especially somebody like Don Lemonade, okay? I don't have no respect for Don Lemonade, okay? He's not a true journalist. He's just getting paid to be a mouthpiece for a particular party, okay? But Don Lemonade is going to say unvaccinated people are stupid, but you're the dumbass. Why? Because you still can get it, dummy, from somebody that's vaccinated or unvaccinated. But based on Dr. Fauci, you can get it from a goddamn gorilla. You can get it from a monkey based on his or analysis or whatever you want to call it, and saying that, there's a possibility there's a monster variant. And I will show you this video too. Monster variant, a variant that comes from the animals, dogs, cats. So you're telling me dogs and cats can get the CV. So now Also, when you see that video later in a few minutes, you'll see that video where it shows that they already have vaccinated some of the animals in the zoos. So what about the animals that are free in the streets? Okay, what about those animals? Squirrels? Can squirrels get the CV? Can can mice get the CV? I'm trying to think of all the other birds. Can they get the CV? I mean, because if they can, then that means people need to stop playing with dogs, cats, stray dogs, cats, or you guys in the America, the people that police the streets or clean the streets need to go get and gather up all the dogs, and because they can have CV and they could be running around here passing it on. So it's going to be here. It's going to be in the animals, and apparently it's out here. Okay, and the reason why I say apparently because I was going to say that apparently it's also in foods. Okay, shouts to Magufuli, rest in peace.
With it.
I think we're going to get there, but we're going to get there in a different way than Singapore in this sense. In a lot of blue areas, you're going to have vaccination rates that will approach that level, and at that point, the case number isn't, as you said, isn't the meaningful statistic, because if you're vaccinated and you catch it, even if you're at a higher risk, your chances of surviving it and not even getting severe illness are much greater. And so that way you can live with the case rate being higher, just as we learned to live with the flu. The Spanish flu from 1918, 1919, never went away. It's become endemic. We have a flu season. We have a flu shot that we get every year. And then at the same time, in some of the Trumpier areas, you may never see vaccine uptake reach significant levels, but you'll continue to see a lot of death and a lot of misery, and with that will come a natural immunity. And at the same time, they're already saying this pandemic's over, even though it isn't. So in that sense, you'll have both communities saying the pandemic's over.
It looks like that. I mean, I was just looking at some forecasts, and a lot of the forecasts have turned out to be wrong. So who knows? And we could have, if we had a significant mutation to COVID, then we could still have another really bad wave, which would be terrible. But the forecasters seem to think, we're at the last peak, and it's going to peter out over the coming months. I think the case for easing up restrictions was very strong as well, like 6 months ago, because anyone who wants to protect themselves from the worst outcomes of COVID basically can. And we're masking children. This isn't something. No other countries don't do that. Europe doesn't do this. France doesn't do this. Britain doesn't do this. Italy doesn't do it. And
So basically, America is the only country that's masking children. Continue to play, man.
People still don't understand the extreme, or they underestimate the extreme age skew. Like unless a child has severe immunocompromised issues, their brush with COVID is so extraordinarily likely to be mild. We can't have that fear holding us back from having a more normal life. It's just insane. It makes no sense from looking at the data.
One thing to also point out is that in Singapore, when there was ever a discussion about mandating the vaccine, they specifically talk about it for people 60 and over. So they know the risk groups. And they're saying, well, if we're going to mandate it, it should be for the older people because they're the ones that are in the hospital. So, I just think it's really interesting how other countries are handling this pandemic, the discussion they're having.
They're handling the pandemic far better than we are. By millions of miles. Okay, I know I'm exaggerating, but they're doing way better than we are doing. Okay, even Africa's doing much better. Even though 2% of the continent is vaccinated, they're doing way better. Okay, way better. A country that's considered, continent, okay, that's considered third world, poor, all of this, all of the statistics, okay, and these countries are doing better with the virus. They're handling it better than the United States. We got all the money, all the technology, best scientists, doctors. They come from those countries too. Like the best scientists and doctors we have come from the Nigerias, the Ghanas, the Kenyas, and South Africas, and they right here in the U.S. Keep playing.
Having around it versus what we're having here, where it's just, it's just the hyper politicized nature of the pandemic.
You see, hyper politicized. Oh my God. That's the next topic. That's the next title. Okay, for Sage, the Sage Spirit Show, episode 2 next week, Wednesday, or next week, Tuesday. If I decide to be Tuesday, Wednesday, it's going to be, that's what it's going to be, hyper politicized. Okay, and it's going to have hyper politicized, and we'll have a few things to talk about along with the CV. Okay, it is just too much, man. People are fatigued, just like they said earlier. Even the doctors, the people in the hospitals, they're fatigued. Nurses, fatigued. They're done. A lot of nurses, by the thousands across the nation, are quitting, leaving hospitals dry with no nurses, barely nurses to actually deliver babies. We're talking about New York. We're talking about Missouri, Texas, California. But they're not publicizing these stories as they're publicizing get the jab. Because that is just as a big story. Because if we don't have no nurses to deliver babies in certain hospitals, we don't have no nurses to give people the shots. If we don't have no nurses to take care of people that got shot, not from the jab, but from guns, okay, or stabbed, that is a far worse problem. People will be dying because there's not enough nurses to take care of wounds and to take care of and to treat people for whatever they're going through, whether if it's the flu, pneumonia, bronchitis, whatever.
Pandemic here in this country, I just think is such a just really devastating, unfortunately.
I wonder if we'll wear masks on planes forever or other places, just because I think I've said this.
In America, I really, young man, whatever your name is, I really believe that's what they're on. They're on to the point it's highly politicized or hyper politicized to the point they will tell you that you will be wearing masks forever on the plane just so you can go get stabbed.
This on the show maybe a number of times, but stupid policies stick around, have with TSA type things, the whole we're
still taking our shoes off, right?
We're still taking our shoes off. It's no reason to do that. So
and they're not in Europe. They don't do that in Europe. You just do that here in the US. It's the strangest thing.
Hope it's not the case, but we'll see. We'll be back with more Rising.
I hope it's not the case. You know what I'm saying? As this show is a dope show, you can definitely watch this show along with these three. It's called Rising on the Hill. Subscribe to their YouTube channel. Very informative news platform, non-biased. Well, let me not say that. I don't really know if they're being funded or anything by any parties or any, people, businesses and corporations connected to parties and all of that. But, I like watching them versus watching the CNNs and sometimes even Fox, because it's just pretty much, neutral. It's neutral. They're not trying to be like, I'm for the Democrats so the Democrats could fund their channel and platform, or I'm for the Republicans. Like Fox is conservative, CNN is liberal. This channel is not that. They're not liberal. They're neither. They just are a news platform informing people. Because if they were a liberal platform, they would not be showing this information right now and talking about how Singapore, Norway, Denmark, and all these other countries are lifting restrictions and mandates, and they're basically saying we're going to live with COVID. It's going to be here forever, just like Ebola. Ebola has been here since when? The early 1900s, okay? Ebola has been here. Let me get the exact facts, because I don't want to just say Ebola. When was Ebola founded? I think it was like 1930 something, okay? Ebola. The first time Ebola disease was discovered was when? Okay, I would like to look that up right now, because I do remember looking that up a few years ago when Ebola was happening, and then people was pulling up videos and saying, hey man, Martin predicted Ebola. No, Martin did not predict Ebola. Ebola been out here, Okay, it's been here long time. Okay, and let's see. Ebola says here, okay, let me see. I think this date right here might be it. Okay, let's see. The disease was identified. I'm wrong. Totally wrong. Even though I'm wrong, but it's still the disease was first identified. That's when it was first identified. Meaning back then we didn't back then there was no forensics and all that and like they have now today to check if DNAs to let out a lot of prisoners. A lot of prisoners been getting out because of forensic. Back then, they didn't have the science to determine a lot of these things. It said the disease was first identified in 1976. It's still here. We just recently had an Ebola outbreak. Based on the timeline, it's recent. Okay, just 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I think it was. Okay, so you're talking about a virus that's been out here for 40 plus years. So are we going to be quarantining, social distancing, jumping on planes with masks, booster shots for the next 40 years? Okay, when people think and you put your mind together along with the research and everything, these are the type of results you get from The Hill. Okay, real journalism, not just biased journalism and fear tactics and hyper politicized situations. Okay, shouts to The Hill. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Sage Spin Show. I'll be broadcasting here live on YouTube, Facebook, and my personal Facebook page. You want to reach out to me, jump on the show, you could want to welcome. This is a preseason version of the show. I'm not going to be doing a very long episode. Most episodes are going to be about an hour and 30 minutes. It will be including interviews, multiple topics instead of just one like I'm doing right now. I wouldn't be spending the whole hour and a half on one topic. It'd be about 20 to 25 minutes. So I just showed you Ebola 1976. I didn't show you, actually. I do apologize, okay? Is it sharing it? I think it's actually sharing it. I do apologize. I don't see it sharing it. Sharing youtube.com stream. Stop sharing. Okay, so it's 1970. Let's see when the SARS came out. Okay, SARS. Let's look at SARS. Okay. SARS, right? Okay, first time. Okay, let me see. Trying to see if I can get it on another platform. SARS first identified. Okay, it's looked like SARS appeared in 2002. Okay, they said no known transmission has occurred since 2004. Okay, known. Okay, that doesn't mean it's not out here. Okay, so we talking about SARS 2002. Okay, swine flu. How long ago? I just want to pull this up. Swine flu was first recognized in 1919, and we just had a swine flu issue during the Obama term. So are we going to be doing this forever? It shouldn't be, okay? It shouldn't be forever. We should actually be following the leads of some of these countries like Norway and all of that. Just live with it, and go from there. Are we going to be flying on planes with masks forever in the United States? Are we going to be walking into stores and firing people for not being vaccinated over something that's going to be here forever? That's not going anywhere? Okay. So follow us, follow me, follow the Sage Spin Show on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, also YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. We do appreciate everybody that has subscribed and that has supported our platform. Also, you can go to afrivue.com. That is AFRIVUE. This is our media platform where we do publish articles, videos, content, and we also host our own events, and we also offer services, okay? So make sure you go to afrivue.com. All right, now I'm going to actually go to the Kyrie Irving video. Because this is the reason why I brought up Kyrie Irving, because it's in relation to people being tired, and also the hyper politicization or whatever, the hyper politicize of, or the hyper politics behind the CV. All right, let me get this real quick for you, Kyrie Irving. All right, and it's like, the sad thing about it is too, a lot of the analysts, y'all ain't no doctors, man. A lot of these sports analysts, y'all not doctors. Y'all not doctors. Y'all not his doctor. Okay, y'all not scientists. Y'all not professionals. You're only professional at running your mouth, kind of like how I am right now. But you're just a professional at running your mouth. That's all you get paid for. You don't get paid to do lab tests. You don't get paid to go in the lab and mix this with that, kind of like what lab we're talking about. You don't get to do that. You don't do that. That's not your profession. So I don't get it when I see Stephen A. Smith, the Chris Broussards, Shannon Sharps, the what's his name, Skip Bayless, shaming people for not getting vaccinated. Like, if I was like, I would not want you to know. I don't care if you know. Just like people that have HIV/AIDS, they want to be able to go to a restaurant and sit down and not be, judged because they have HIV and AIDS. Okay, because people will judge. People be like, I ain't sitting next to that person, or I don't want to hang with that person, and it's sad, but that's what it's going for the unvaccinated, and we can't be treating the unvaccinated like that. If they choose to be unvaccinated, let it be. Kind of like Kyrie. And you can see in Kyrie's face, he's tired of it, man. He's tired of this hyper politicized matter.
Indoors to get the shot. Kyrie was asked yesterday if he plans to get vaccinated before the season. Here's what he had to say.
Honestly, I like to keep that stuff private, man. I'm a human being first, and
goddamn right. He's a human first. He's not a property, okay, of the NBA, except when he's throwing on a jersey, okay? And it's not right, for you guys to be out there chastising people, shaming people on national TV. Like, that's sad. Like, that is the most terrible thing I've seen so far. People that don't know what the hell they talking about, people that don't know nothing about medicine, being a doctor, scientist, flus, viruses. They don't know nothing. The only virus they know about is on their computer, and then they hit McAfee to eradicate the virus. Okay, that's the only virus they're familiar with. All right.
Obviously, living in this public sphere, there's just a lot of questions about what's going on in the world of Kyrie, and I think I just would love to just keep that private and handle it the right way with my team and go forward together with a plan. So, obviously I'm not able to be present there today, but that doesn't mean that I'm putting any limits on the future of me being able to join the team. And I just want to keep it that way. So we can keep that private. And if anybody has any further questions about that, please, it would be the same response. I would like to keep that private.
Same response. Watch how these suckers just attack the man. Okay. Now, before I even go into that, I just want to go into this comment. ATM, African True Moors Media said. He said Johnson & Johnson baby powder has some lawsuits against them for ovarian cancer. I'm gonna play this, okay, video with Kyrie Irving, and I'll be looking that up, and I'll be pulling it up. Kyrie speaks, man. Most of the time, I don't like Kyrie, but I like Kyrie right now. Kind of like I don't like Nicki Minaj music, but I like Nicki Minaj, okay, right now.
Private, and just please respect that.
Understanding you want to keep this private, and I do think.
See, I hate these analysts. Understood. Okay, if you understand, move on. Move on to the next question. Okay. Just move on to the next question. That's it. You said you understood. But then you always have the but, man. When you hear the but, man, these guys here that be doing sports and stuff, trying to do sports and also be scientists at the same time, Y'all the butt of the joke.
I do think there's, people should have privacy to a certain extent, but people are speculating about certain stances you have and that you're not going to be available to.
Kyrie drinking that tea. He drinking that tea with the turmeric, the ginger, the lime, the onions. That's what it looked like he's drinking. Or he might be drinking some vodka. You never know, but I think Kyrie's drinking that tea, man.
Your team and that kind of thing. And just why don't you want to clear that up to some extent?
Yeah, please respect my privacy. Next question.
See, that's it. As a journalist, if you have respect for somebody and if you're a true journalist, respect the man's privacy because it can go left. And I guarantee you, if this was in the streets, you wouldn't do that. Okay? You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't ask if the man tell you, mind your business. I promise you, whoever the hell is asking the questions right now, you would be like, all right, it ain't my business. Because you don't want, a 1-2 and an uppercut. See?
As in fans too?
She's stuttering. He's stuttering. Okay, when the man said it's his privacy, he's talking about his privacy. The fans don't come into play with this, okay? They don't matter when it comes to his own personal privacy. If that's the case, then every fan that wants to get an autograph, he should be able to ask, can I see your HIV/AIDS card? Can I see your SARS card? Can I see your swine flu card? Because as we know, swine flu came out when? 1919. We just recently had an outbreak about 10 years ago. Just had an outbreak. When was it? Exactly what I said. 10 years ago. August of 2010. August 2009 to 2010. So about 10 years ago. Okay, my memory is that good. Okay, that's good. So we're talking about, let me just let Kyrie talk, man, because I don't want to go through the whole video talking. I wanted you to listen to it, and then I'll be able to talk. Let me play it up until the part, and then I'll share my thoughts.
They also want to know, not just us.
Yeah, next question.
Are you concerned about his availability at home games going forward?
No.
So you expect that not to be an issue?
I expect it not to be. That's on Kyrie, and that's his personal decision. What he does is not.
That's right. It's on Kyrie. It's on Kyrie and his personal decision, and that's how it should be across the board. You know what I'm saying?
What may happen, but we trust in Kyrie, and I expect us to have our whole team at some point.
Like 3 most important words there, at some point. Nick, this bothers you. Why?
Well, let me start with the positive. I was glad to hear Kyrie say the public sphere as opposed to the public flat surface. So maybe there is some evolution of thought on Kyrie's behalf in at least some areas. Unfortunately, not on this one. Listen, Kyrie, if someone has deeply held religious convictions that prevent them from embracing any part of Western medicine, I will never begrudge them that. But Kyrie goes to the knee surgeon more often than I go to the dentist. So that ain't it. And the reason that...
How do you know that's not it? He did not tell you anything. He says it's personal. See, that's why sometimes being a sports analyst and making these assumptions, people that are not smart and that don't have a high IQ going to think what you're saying is facts. And it's not a fact. It could be because of spiritual purposes. People got there's religion and spirituality. Those are 2 completely different things. Religion and spirituality. Okay. Some people will have a spiritual thing with not taking shots and allowing chemicals to go in them. Okay. And especially when it's something that is brand new. Okay. Anesthesia, when you go to get surgery, they shoot you with anesthesia and all of that. Guess what? Millions of people, I could probably say even billions probably, okay, have taken anesthesia shots, okay, over the time that anesthesia has been around. Okay, so that is one. And number 2 is nobody knows, okay, the long-term effects. None of you on here, Chris, Nick, the young lady, Stephen A, Skip, none of y'all, even the doctors, even the people that created it, okay? Even the people that created it, all right? Let me hear what they got to say, and we'll stop listening
That
to them talk.
Kyrie or Andrew Wiggins or any of these guys are hiding behind it's a personal privacy issue is because they know that their opposition is a centimeter deep, that it's an indefensible position that they specifically hold. And it is not a personal question to say, hey, are you going to be able to play home games this year? Kyrie or anybody is allowed to be a nudist if they'd like, but it would prevent them from being able to suit up for an NBA game. That's where this is. So forget the public health component, forget the 600,000 dead component, forget the responsibility as a leader in any community component, just from a basketball.
I don't think Kyrie ever said that he wanted to be the leader of all the communities in the world or whatever, the black community, all that. Y'all be doing that too much, man.
Component. This is brutal for your team. Kevin Durant look happy answering those questions?
He doesn't, because he wants to be a champion, but some people value their health over a goddamn gold piece of metal that will not matter to them when they turn 80, 90 years old and may have to deal with side effects. Okay? Ask all these NFL running backs from the 80s, okay? Was it worth it, okay? Using their helmets and crushing people with their helmets, okay? Was it worth it? Because a lot of them, after leaving the NFL, 20 years later, brain damage, can barely remember their own name, kind of like Joe Biden, can barely remember family member names, have to have directions written down on what to do. And these men are in their 40s and 50s, okay? And we're talking about, so you're telling me, I don't understand these people, man. I just don't understand, okay? The man doesn't care. Do you think that Earl Campbell don't give a damn about no Super Bowl, okay? He don't give a, right now he don't care about a Super Bowl. He probably don't even remember that he played in the NFL, okay? He probably don't remember, okay? But his health has been jeopardized because he played the game, and he played the game in a different way, okay? Now, Kyrie probably like, man, I do not want to get shot up with something that I do not know what the results will be like in 5 to 10 years, to the point my health may be jeopardized, kind of like Earl Campbell, and then none of that stuff even matters to me. Even all the accolades and the rings is only going to matter to the people that remember it.
Kevin Durant look happy that it's like, you got it. Really? We are the overwhelming favorites. Everyone is healthy. This is the chance to be the best team in Nets history. And you know what?
Obviously, that don't matter to him. Some people value their health more than they value $1 million. Some people value their health more than they value a ring. Okay? A ring, okay? A ring. And a ring that goes to an organization that won't give a damn about you when you retire, okay? And definitely will trade you once you get too old, okay? Because you've sustained too many injuries, and you're not valuable to them anymore. Come on, dog. We living and we just watched a video where we have countries that have lifted mandates and restrictions, and they have higher vaccination rates than we do. We're about 60-something%. I'm hearing, I don't know, 50%, 60%. But we have countries like Norway, Denmark that are 90% vaccinated, but their hospital rates is still tripling based on what was happening last year towards the end of the pandemic. Couple more seconds of this and that.
One of the best teams in NBA history. And we got Kyrie Irving on IG Live walking around his house talking about how important privacy is. What?
See, that's why I can't be on these shows with people like this. You know why? Because I'm the type of person that'll challenge you, and I there's nothing you're gonna tell me. Okay, if the privacy in home versus health is totally different. Okay, because you don't have privacy. Period. Because people could just type your address and see how you living based on Google. So there's no such thing as privacy for homes. Okay, the man is trying to hold on to the last thing or the last form of privacy he has, which is about his health. Okay, he don't want nobody to know if he took it or not. Just like some people that got AIDS and HIV, they could be walking around your house all day long. Got it, not going to tell you. Bleeding, not going to tell you. Having sex with you, not going to tell you.
And Broussard, this is an untenable position for the Nets. It's not Kyrie's fault in this one regard. There's 27 teams where this would be an inconvenience, but not a devastating blow. But if you play in San Francisco or New York City, not being vaccinated means you can't play home games.
And look where look most of them cities, New York and San Francisco, are led by the blue, the Democrat Party, the Joe Bidenites and the Obamanites. Oh, I don't know what to even call them. Obamanites. The Obamanites, I guess. Look at Chris Broussard's face. Sometimes I think he's just saying what he has to say. Look at his face. I think Chris Broussard is tired of it. He's fatigued as well, just like Kim Iverson was saying from The Hill, okay, on that show, the previous video. When you get a chance, if you just jumped in, you could watch the previous video earlier. Look at Chris Broussard's face. He's tired of talking about this, man. And Chris Broussard is one of those guys, I don't like to say conscious, like, the black conscious community, but he's one of those guys that's, an intellectual individual, not just in sports. But he's like, damn, man, I'm tired of talking about this, man. Maybe he's tired of Kyrie. I don't know. But at the end of the day, man, people should have their rights, man. People should have their rights.
And I want your thoughts on this, Broussard, at some point I think you would be better off with no Kyrie Irving than Kyrie just for road games. I don't think you can build a cohesive unit if Kyrie is only, and by the way, it's not like, well, you can play home games in the playoffs, though. They're not changing the rules. Right. So this is a brutal spot for the Nets. And if it's going to end, Broussard, with Kyrie getting vaccinated anyway, then the hell are we doing? Then what is this other than a look at me, I'm so interesting because I've discovered something on YouTube that the leading virologists in the world haven't discovered in their lab?
Hey, please don't talk about leading virologists. Do I need to pull up stories on virologists and the mistakes they have made? Okay. Do we need to talk about what was the Tuskegee situation? Do we need to talk about that? Do we need to talk about how these same virologists and people from the CDC said Haitians in the 1980s brought AIDS to America, AIDS and HIV? This is what these virologists were saying. Haitians brought AIDS to America to the point Haitians had to protest along with brothers and sisters of all colors, protest because they knew that the CDC was liars. Okay, along with the same guy that's talking about the monster variant, Fauci. He was right there front and center as well. Okay, this guy's been here since the early 80s, man. He's really the president of America, okay? Because he's been in that seat since 1981, I think that's what they say. Okay, so
it's maddening.
Well, to the point you made, Nick, they could get away with it during the regular season. It's not what you want to do. I wouldn't want to do it if I'm running the Nets. But if Kyrie were to only play road games in the regular season, they'd still be fine. They still have the number 1 or number 2 seed in the East. We know that just based on Harden and Durant and the rest of their roster.
And that's good.
The problem is it will
maybe
continue.
Kyrie wants to use that to help prolong his situation so they can actually approve his or give him a waiver because just like what's his name from Canada, the basketball player from Canada, Wiggins, along with I believe it's Justin, I don't remember his last name, the African basketball player for Orlando Magics. They all three trying to get religious or spiritual waivers, and maybe this would be the way for them to get the the waiver, okay, so they can actually not play home games, okay, and which will probably cause less ticket sales and everything. So the owners will definitely not benefit from this as much, and they probably just want to see how long they can prolong the situation so they don't have to be vaccinated and they can get a waiver. Once again, we got countries that have lifted it. We got countries that are telling you the virus is a mild case. What does mild mean? Soft, light, not serious.
You into the playoffs. And that's where it absolutely cannot happen. We saw it last year. We've seen it every year. Chemistry is important, and you wouldn't have the chemistry. To me, the most hopeful thing, if you're a Nets fan, that Kyrie said yesterday was that he's leaving the door open. He said, I'm not putting any limits on the future of me being able to join the team. That's a door open. All right, that's a door he left open to kind of say, I might get vaccinated. All right, I'm still trying to figure it out. If I'm the Nets, what I would do,
the best thing, he's trying to figure it out, okay, and he's allowed to, just like you guys are, chastising him to actually get it. He has the rights to study and figure out on his own whether it's worth it, because we do have issues, just like ATM just said, and it's on the screen. We do have issues with some of the vaccines, and one of them is Johnson & Johnson, okay? And one of them was AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca was removed, okay, at one point, just like Johnson & Johnson was removed. And these are fairly new viruses. So this makes people like, okay, you know what, man? Johnson & Johnson ain't got it on point. They've been here for a long time, multi-million-dollar company, maybe billions. They ain't get it right. People getting blood clots, okay, from the J&J, okay? So what makes you think that, later on from the vaccination for Pfizer or the vaccination for Moderna may not cause any issues later? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people took the Johnson & Johnson shot based on, Johnson & Johnson being the brand that it is, okay? Johnson & Johnson had baby powder. Like I said, Johnson & Johnson is a conglomerate. Okay, a conglomerate, and the conglomerate that people trusted and was saying, "Hey, get the J&J. They've been here. They've been out here." That's what people were saying. Get the J&J. They've been out here, man. They're more trustworthy. Get the J&J. They've been out here. They're more trustworthy. And a lot of people listen to the experts, the virologists, and people like you that's talking on sports channels. Okay, and they went and got the J&J, and some of them are facing health complications because of that. I'm no longer going to play a video here. What I'm going to do is go to the Johnson & Johnson article, okay, and faces another crisis after Supreme Court decision. I'm going to share this for you guys, okay? Let me share it. Give me a second. Let me stop sharing this. All right. So once again, follow us, afroview.com. Follow me, The Sage Spin Show, everywhere. For both, follow us everywhere, right? And as ATM said, Johnson & Johnson baby powder has some lawsuits against them for ovarian cancer. Is this true or false? And shout outs to ATM, man. Thank you for listening and tuning in and subscribing. Let me share this for you real quick. All right. So basically, it is true. This is not a lie. This is facts. Let me pull up the article. This is on Forbes, Forbes.com, right, ladies and gentlemen. And I mean, I'm not going to read all of it, but it says Johnson & Johnson faces another crisis, okay? Right after the blood clot situation, okay? And I'm going to read an article on that as well. And it says Johnson & Johnson is facing yet another crisis. Although the company has recovered from other crises over the years, it remains to be seen how long would it take for them to come back from this one, or whether if they can. On Tuesday, the U.S. Supreme Court decided not to consider an appeal from the company regarding a $2 billion ruling in favor of 20 women who alleged that their ovarian cancer was caused by Johnson & Johnson talcum powder. The company's ability to recover from the crisis will provide business leaders with important lessons about resiliency in the face of crisis situations they may have to deal with at their own organizations. For now, at least, the company is following best practices when responding to a crisis by issuing a statement with its point of view, countering allegation that its baby powder is unsafe and putting the court's decision into perspective. And they quickly responded to my request for comment for the story, okay? And so basically, they say Johnson & Johnson said in their statement that the decision by the court not to review the Ingham case leaves unresolved significant legal questions that state and federal courts will continue to face on issues related to due process rights and personal jurisdictions. The Supreme Court has many times said that its decision to deny hearing a case expressed no view of the merits whatsoever, and we continue to believe that our view of the law and the facts will ultimately prevail, right? So we got 20 women, okay, and that's just 20, okay? We don't know if it's more and etc., all right? We don't know, but 20, all right? All right, and then here's another lawsuit, okay? Another lawsuit. This one is a lawsuit Johnson & Johnson is facing. This is another lawsuit they're facing for, okay, it has to do with black women. You know, share screen. Let me get that up for you real quick, ladies and gentlemen. But make sure y'all follow, like, share, comment. Okay, and this is an article. It says Johnson & Johnson targeted black women with products linked to cancer. Lawsuit says. Same lawsuit that they're talking about. Okay, it says pharmaceutical giant Johnson & Johnson marketed its talcum-based powder product specifically to black women, despite evidence showing the product caused cancer. A new lawsuit alleges. The complaint filed by National Council of Negro Women asserts that the New Jersey-based drug company made black women a central part of its business strategy, but failed to warn them about the potential dangers of the powder products was selling. Okay, so you got to realize that this is what's going on. All right, 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Let me play this video for you real quick. I have a video that I want to share you guys regarding Dr. Fauci, all right, and talking about the monster variant. Give me 1 second. I have somebody knocking on my door. All right, so I'm going to play this. This is where Dr. Fauci is talking about the variant, all right?
If you look at the growing threat of what we're all concerned about, the Delta variant. What do we know about that variant? The transmissibility is unquestionably greater than the wild-type SARS-CoV-2 as well as the Alpha variant. It is associated with an increased disease severity as reflected by hospitalization risk compared to Alpha. And in lab tests associated with modest decreased neutralization by sera from previously infected and vaccinated individuals, but efficacy, as I'll get to in a moment, is something that is held up. Look at what's happening in the United States. We seem...
You see, you talking about the United States, but why don't you talk about other places? But let me fast forward it to
in
where...
this case, 2 weeks after the second dose, 92 and 96...
Where he mentioned the monster variant. I think it was an article. Okay, I don't remember watching a video. If I did, I do apologize, but let me see. Monster variant article, right? Give me a second here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm pulling it up right now for you. Okay, there we go. This is an article on New York Daily News, okay? NY Daily, all right? I used to steal a lot of stories from the NY Daily back in the days, man. All right, so the NY Daily, and this is going to be the last segment, ladies and gentlemen, right? And the New York Daily shares this article, and this is the reason why I say we it's a never-ending thing, all right? Here we go. Okay. Fauci wants possible monster variant, right? And look at I'm gonna block that. Of COVID-19 if pandemic isn't stamped out with vaccinations. Okay, and we just watched a video from The Hill where they said all the vaccine is not going to stop this. It's going to be here forever. Just like SARS been here forever. Well, not forever. Just like Ebola been here since 1976. The flu has been here since the swine flu has been here since 1919. Okay. So basically, Dr. Anthony Fauci Tuesday warned that COVID-19 could mutate into an even more virulent monster variant if the pandemic is not stamped out with mass vaccination. See, always trying to bring some fear, man. The pandemic expert agreed. Expert, you're not an expert. Okay, agree with MSNBC, whatever her name is, Mika, when she suggested that a new monster strain could make the Delta variant look like child's play. There's always a risk as you get more circulation of the virus in the community that you will get enough accumulation of new mutations to get a variant substantially different from the ones we're seeing now. Okay, and I would read more of the article, but there's more parts where it's talking about they vaccinated monkeys. Okay, they vaccinated monkeys, gorillas in the zoos because they said dogs and cats can get the virus. Dogs and cats can get the virus. Okay, so this is what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, man. I just like to inform people. I just like to show people, you know what I'm saying, that there's more out there. You teach yourself, man. Learn, inform yourself. Give me a second here, okay? Yeah, learn and inform yourself, man, because it's just a lot going on, and people are tired. People are tired. If somebody asks me for my CV card, I'm going to ask them for their HIV card. Do you have HIV? No. Okay, then. All right. Then if you don't, then if you do you? Okay. But let me see your card, period. You know, that people would not like that. They would not like that because that's invading their privacy, because HIV AIDS is that serious to people. You know what I'm saying? So it's that serious to people. All right. So at the end of the day, man, I do appreciate your time. I do appreciate for people for joining. I did about what I said I would do, 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's what the length of the show will be. There will be more graphics in the future. In future shows, I would definitely be showing my face, more visuals, more content, more, more better shows, definitely more well-produced, everything. All right. I do appreciate everybody that has tuned in, that has listened. It means a lot. You know, you could be listening to somebody else, and you could be commenting on somebody else's post, but you took your time out to do that. I appreciate your time. Peace, love, and happiness to everybody out there. I'm gonna leave y'all my 3 favorite quotes. All right, my 3 favorite quotes are: starve your distractions, feed your focus. All right, and the second one is have a purpose, keep working, and the last is killing time, kill success. So stop killing time with people that don't love you, support you, and most of all, that don't want to see you do good. All right. So make sure y'all follow us on Instagram, Afrivue, AFRIVUE, on all platforms. And make sure y'all follow us on follow the Sage Experience Show on all platforms: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Support us. Make sure look out for more shows, more things to come, more content being created behind the Afrivue brand. The Sage Experience Show is powered by Afrivue. Like I said, go to afrivue.com. Articles, news, content. We have events coming in the future in Africa. We have events coming in the future here in America as well. And we also have investments, opportunities. Hit us up. All right, it's your boy Sage. I'm signing off. Peace, love, and happiness to everybody out there. Shit.